It is so hot in my room right now. It's so hot outside. We're going through a crazy heat wave right now. We just broke all kinds of records. It's, what is today? September 7th. Yesterday was nuts hot. And to prove it, oh my gosh, in my bedroom, this is insane, it's 26.9 degrees Celsius. When I sat down and started like prepping my space to film like 7 minutes ago, it was, oh, we're at 27. It was 26.4. So it's rapidly going up. Probably me running around like a chicken with my head cut off is making it worse. But anyway, we are here after a hot minute of not being here to do a monthly wrap up. And I missed July. I didn't like miss July. I had every intention of filming July, but the problem was I didn't really do a lot in July. So I was going to do what I did last month and do like, this is what happened in July, but also here's a list of fun decks to use in the fall, summer. I don't know. I had a plan. I can't remember what it was. And then I just never did it. So I was like, okay, I'll just lump July and August together. Here we are, lumping July and August together. And just for, well, at the end of the video, because I don't want to give away what I'm going to talk about, but at the end of the video, I'm going to show you what I mean, because July and August have been dead as far as like my tarot practice and tarot adjacent tarot related things goes. And it's just because I think like summer gets in the way, summer happens, you get plans, you get busy, it's nice outside, you're spending more time outside. So I think that's what happened. But I want to show you in my little journal previous months compared to July and August. Stick around if you want to see that. We'll start with July. I got one tarot deck in the month of July that came in. I don't know if I bought it in July. I might have bought it in June and it came in the mail in July. But it's from it's by Dark Forest on Etsy. And it was like 70% off. I talked about it on my Instagram page, Coyote Tarot Instagram page. So I paid like $30 for this. It came in this velvet bag that, I mean, some of it is like, it's not the best quality. It's clearly like an iron on something or other that's lifting, whatever. This is the box, kind of a hefty, chunky box. Making sure we're still filming. That would be the kind of day I have right now. And it came with a book, this little white book. And it was in like a weird order. So, for example, number 1 is the Magician, okay, High Priestess, Empress, whatever. So the Fool is at the end. Strength is 8, Justice is 11. So the Fool's at the very end, and then it starts, the minor start with King, then Queen, then Knight, then Page, then 10, so they go backwards. So it's just kind of weird. But the book, I don't mind it. I don't mind the book. Let's get to the cards. These are the backs. It is a high gloss, but I knew that going into it, and that was the purpose of buying this deck, because it's waterproof. So it's quite thick, it's quite hefty. It's a clone. Again, high gloss on that side as well. But it's a Rider-Waite-Smith clone. It is cropped ever so slightly. I wonder if I can find a good example. The color palette is obviously different. I don't mind the color palette. But I did just want a durable, waterproof deck. I have a swimming pool. I have friends with cottages. So it's nice to kind of have a deck that I didn't spend too much money on and that can take a beating. Hold the line while I find what I'm looking for. So here's a decent example. We have the Hermit card. And you can see that the title is off center at the bottom. So they've obviously cropped the image a bit and not centered it. They've probably tried to center it around the figure. Yeah, I don't know. Zoomed in, whatever you want to call it. So there are a couple where the title is a little off center. I don't necessarily mind, again, for $30. Not a bad deal. Now, shuffling this, at first it was quite stiff. It does hurt me a little. And this is my problem with the MJ Cullinane decks. It kind of hurts like in the thumb crease? What would we call this? It starts to get a little red and raw in there if I'm shuffling it a lot. So I don't love that. It's quite slippery. I just dropped all of it on my lap. BRB. So it is quite slippery, and the cardstock is thick because it is plastic. So the size of the deck itself is a little bit more thick. I can pretty much get my hands around it, almost. So it's not terrible, but for its purpose, it's perfect. It's what I wanted. So that was the one deck. Yes, the one deck I got in July. And this deck did have a fun family reading. I had family come in July for just like a hangout swim day. And it was my male cousins and my uncle through marriage who came to visit along with my aunt. And my aunt asked me to get out the tarot cards. So it was kind of interesting to read for family, especially the males. There was two of them that were really skeptical of it. The other one, he's just a supportive individual regardless of what you're doing. So I don't really know what his real opinion was, but he was hella supportive, super cute. The other two were questioning it a lot. And I did do a reading for my uncle that came out spot on. So I thought that was kind of funny. Like, what do you think about them now? Kind of business. But I did get to do some tarot reading for other people. It does still stress me out because they'll ask me a question and I'm like, I don't can you just pick a spread from my spread book, please? Like, I really struggle to formulate questions into a reading. I find that people often ask, they want to know yes or no things, which is what my uncle did. So I did do the whole what'll happen if you do this versus what'll happen if you don't do this kind of thing. So I was able to do that, and that's the reading that worked out really well. So that was kind of cool. But yeah, I did a reading for family and skeptics. So it was kind of cool. As far as my own personal tarot practice has gone for both July and August, I haven't had one. I can count one time that I read tarot for myself in July and August. Once. I don't even remember what it was about. I didn't journal it. Always journal it. Always. But what I've been doing instead is Lenormand. I'm trying to learn Lenormand. So I'm using the cute little Lenormand, which I keep in like a random crystal pouch that I got from a store. And I chose this deck because it's super simple, really easy to learn with. The guidebook is great for learning. So I just figured this was a good deck to start with. I do have, I think, 3 Lenormand decks. Now 4, but that'll be September's video. So I just wanted to start with this one first because it's fairly basic. The Celtic Lenormand is the other one I have, and the Aurum Lenormand. So those decks really haven't got any use from me because I want to learn with this. I was going to call it a bad boy. This is a little baby. I want to learn with this little baby right here. And what I've been doing, so I've watched the Truth in Stories YouTube videos. They're years old. Like, I want to say they're like 7 or 8 years old, about Lenormand and learning Lenormand. And for both July and August, I've done my personal 10-day ritual where I do it for 10 consecutive days with the same deck. And I've only done 2 cards. So in the Truth in Story, Kelly, the Truth in Stories videos, she says to start with 2 cards. So you ask for a card. So we got the key, and then you ask for a modifier. So the modifier would be the stork. So the plan is to do these cards in the morning before I go to work, which I really found mostly in August, it was a struggle to remember. It would be like the end of the day and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I didn't pull my cards today. So I would still do it. But what I found was that these were crazy accurate. So okay, back to the Truth and Story. So the key is 33. So our main message is the solution, the crux of the issue, the key to success. Okay. And then we add in the stork as the modifier. Transition and change, entering a new phase of life. So the solution maybe is to enter a new phase, to make a change, to embrace a transition. The key to success. Is that what I said? Oh, I said the solutions. Yeah. So the key to success is transition, a change, entering a new phase, whatever. That's super basic, but you get what I'm doing here. You're picking up what I'm putting down. And I found that it was very accurate, like creepy accurate. But one thing I had to kind of learn, understand, / wrap my head around was that when I read these cards, especially in the morning before I embark on my day, if I were to get that message, I would be thinking like big picture. But what actually ends up happening is it could be the smallest thing, just a little tiny thing in my day. And I would go back in my journal and be like, well, there was no major transition that led to success or anything, whatever I just read. And then when I actually thought about it, I'd be like, oh, there was that like math problem that I had for a few minutes today that I couldn't wrap my head around. And that makes sense. So I really need to understand that it doesn't have to be big picture things. It can also be like little blips throughout the day that maybe is what the cards is talking about. So I found that when I went back and read my journal at the end of the day and did my little update, like, I understand where this happened today. It was this situation or this scenario. I really saw it with the Lenormand cards. I don't really see it so much with the tarot cards. So that was an interesting observation that I had while working with the Lenormand. All right, now we're into August. So August was the same with the Lenormand. I didn't have a tarot practice for myself in August. I didn't read tarot really at all. I just did Lenormand. And I think I'm actually going to keep that up. I think I'm going to stick with that. But, things are starting to slow down. I'm looking outside at the weather. Things are starting to slow down. No more cottages really. Probably a couple more times. Actually, yes, definitely a couple more times. Well, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I do want to start incorporating it back into my practice again. So I did have like a tarot hangout at a cottage weekend. It was the civic weekend in August, the long weekend, where I have a couple friends that are into tarot. And we got to hang out and talk tarot, and she brought a whole bag of decks for me to look at. One of them was the Antique Anatomy. And that I don't want to say it's never spoke to me, because I do like it, but it's just not really my aesthetic as far as tarot cards goes. And I didn't think, when I watched walkthroughs on YouTube and stuff, I didn't really think it would be easy to read for me. Like, it kind of had a pip vibe to me, even the majors. Like, I was just like, I don't really see the hermit in this image, or whatever the case may be. But when I got that deck in my hands, I was like, oh my gosh, I see it. I see the tarot reflected, the Six of Cups reflected back in this image that Claire Goodchild has created. So I kind of want that deck now, which is a problem because I'm trying not to buy decks. I haven't bought it yet, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. But it was just really nice to hang out and talk tarot and go through decks and do like quick readings and see how other people read. And it was just really neat. Now there was alcohol involved, so it wasn't exactly a sober tarot hang, but whatever, it was fun. And some boyfriends interrupted us online because I don't have one of those, but some of the men came in and interrupted us, so it was kind of funny. They were all like thinking we were doing woo woo shit and whatever. They tried to scare us by banging on the windows. Didn't work. It's kind of funny. I did get one deck in August. And this was super fun. It was a Kickstarter, and I was an early bird backer for the first time ever on Kickstarter. I've only purchased like a handful of Kickstarters in my life, and this was the only one that I was able to get an early bird price on. I set my alarm for 3 a.m. to do it, so there's that. But it's the Feel Your Chakras Oracle by Andy at Metaphysics Made Easy. And I previously filmed, before I like shuffled it and got it all out of order, really, I filmed a little like segment on it. So I'll pop that in here. So the Feel Your Chakras Oracle, I got this from Andy at Metaphysics Made Easy. I got it on the Kickstarter. So I think you can still go to her Etsy shop and get it, or also the website, ? But Kickstarter, very exciting. It came with really cool things. So I got this piece of, I believe, sodalite. It looks like, I don't know, it's quite speckly. Maybe it's not sodalite. I don't know. So it was a freebie with it. And then it also came with this really cute mini card readings. So I just have to show you what I got. They're so tiny. So this is from her other version of the deck. This is like a linen cardstock. I don't know if you can see that. This is another deck that she has. Another version. This one's like, feels very papery, but it's another version of the Feel Your Chakras Oracle. And then this is another linen-y one. And the backs of these, let's just flip them over. The backs are all different and really pretty. I don't know if you can see. Look how pretty they are. Oh, that one really blends in. I just love it. I absolutely love it. So that's my personalized reading. We need to talk about the cards. We need to shock about the cards. So I did go through the deck and I have put everything back in order-ish. I've shuffled it many, many times. So you get this like title card that explains what each chakra kind of governs over the body. It's the same on both sides, right? Yeah. So you get that doohickey, and then you get some just blank chakra cards. So these could be used like on your altar or whatever. If you're just choosing to work with a certain chakra, you can set it where you're going to see it, put it in your wallet. I don't know, a bunch of stuff you could do with that. And then we get into the cards. So what I love about them, each chakra has an underactive and then overactive and balanced section. So we'll just kind of, I don't want to go through all of them because there is so many, but the crown chakra always starts with I sense. Oh, I don't like that you can see my thumb shadow. Ew. All right, we're just going to zoom in. So it gives you the chakra, it gives you the Sanskrit name, and then whether it's underactive, overactive, or balanced. So like I said, the crown chakras all start with I sense. And some of these like, they're so hard hitting and so accurate, and I feel attacked in some of them in the best way possible. All right, so, and one thing to note is that it's not, there isn't the same number of cards for each chakra, so you can see there's obviously a lot more root than, I think almost all of them probably, but yeah. So we'll just kind of go through and do a little sampling. So the third eye chakra is I see. So it always starts with I see. So I am going quickly here just because I don't want to do a full walkthrough. Oh, like some of them are just crazy good. I was so excited to get this deck in, and it came so quickly. I was so impressed with how quickly everything happened. All right, so throat chakra, I talk, and same, underactive. Let's try and go a little quicker. Overactive and balanced. And then the heart chakra is I love, underactive, overactive, oh, and balanced. Oh, I love and I love. I just love. I love and forgive. Like, these are just so great. And then we have the solar plexus, which is I do, overactive, oh, where's our, how did I do this here? Did I miss? Yeah, so here there's 3 underactive cards for the solar plexus. And then we get into, there's more overactive. So they're not all like the same. Not each chakra is the same. If that's something that matters to you, it does not matter to me at all. I just think that this is such a fantastic deck, such a fantastic way to work with the chakras, and such a fantastic way to learn the chakras as well. My pile is giving me anxiety, hold on. So then we have the sacral, which starts with I feel. So underactive. This one has been coming up so much for me lately, and it's not wrong. Overactive. And balanced. And then we get into the root chakra, which starts with I am. We've got underactive, overactive, and balanced. I don't think I'm gonna edge it just because, like, I thought about edging it with the corresponding chakra color, but I would hate for it to bleed into especially the white border. So I am actually pretty sure I'm just gonna leave it. But you can shuffle this. Like, I have like average sized hands, I would say. It's definitely shuffleable. I was playing around shuffling it last night. I don't know if we can do a riffle with the whole chunk. No, my hands are very weak when it comes to riffling chunkers like this. Yeah, ish. A little fat at the end there, but. So what I was doing last night was I was just dividing it in half and then shuffling this way. I think you can bridge them too. I'm pretty sure I bridged them last night. Yeah, great. And then do the same with this puppy. Now I'm gonna knock this one over. They are very slidey, so. Cute. And then we're just gonna add. So yes, 10 out of 10, recommend this deck. As I'm filming this right now, I haven't used it yet. I'm still kind of trying to decide how I'm going to work with the balanced cards. Like, what happens if I pull a balanced card? Like, is that the universe's way of telling me that that chakra is balanced and I don't have to work on it? Or is that me, like, reading the card? Here, let's just... Perfect. So here's a balanced one. I do act responsibly. Okay, so I don't. I know this about myself, so I would say that this is something I need to work on. So that's an easier one to work with. Let's find another one. I do have reliability. I don't know if I'm considered a reliable person. So for me, pulling this card, I feel like I would be kind of confused. Maybe sit back and journal on whether or not I think I'm reliable, or, you know, kind of define what reliability means to me and go from there. So I'm really kind of uncertain what to do with the balanced cards. But I'm excited to work with this deck and figure that out. I wonder if I've shuffled it enough. When they're all, this is very risky because of how slippery they are, but I love how they look when they're all mixed in. So pretty. But I love this little deck. I can't wait to start using it. My mind is still kind of like feeling a little overwhelmed as to how to use it, especially, here's a perfect example. So let's say I pull, I feel pleasure in real life. So that's saying that my sacral chakra is balanced. So how do I proceed? Like, what if you get a balanced card? It's like, oh, okay, then what? Or, if I'm thinking, if I read this, I feel pleasure in real life, and I'm like, no, I don't agree with that. I disagree with that statement. I could say, okay, that's what I need to do to get that chakra into balance, and how can I do that? That would be something I could do. But if it is something that I agree with, oh, I definitely agree with this. Toot my own horn. I do have a sense of humor. What do I do with this card? Like, how do I maybe ask the tarot how I can expand on my sense of humor, or I don't know. So that's something I have to figure out. That's something I have to work with. I'm super excited. I am ecstatic to work with this deck. I can't wait to do it, to get to it. The other thing I started doing in August, so if I can find a picture, I'll insert it here. With my Hellenic Oracle, I've really been trying to study it, trying to work with it, because I love it so, so much, but I'm not well versed enough with everything in the deck. Oh, this slippery, slippery deck. To understand what that card pull will mean, if that makes any sense. So, okay, the Hecatoncheires. This is a good one. I know what the Hecatoncheires is, but what does that mean when it pops up in a reading? How can I apply a divinatory meaning to that card? So I had originally chronologically ordered by date, like who appeared first, and I was trying to learn that way. And I kept the cards all separated, and, I was going through, researching, studying, whatever. But while trying to keep the deck in order, I couldn't use it because I didn't want to mess up the chronological order that I just worked so hard to figure out. So I wasn't using this deck, and I haven't touched this deck in a really long time. I haven't used it in a really long time. So I was like, you know what? Screw it. Abort that mission. I'm just going to pull a card every day. I've pulled 2 cards. But, so who was this? Artemis? Yeah. And then I would look up Artemis, see what comes up, what research happens, and think about it for the day. Think about how it applies to me. Something I've been using to help me is this book right here. It's a big boy. It's been extremely helpful, although there is Taiki isn't in here, which I thought was bizarre. Pretty sure it's Taiki. Let's double check. Yeah, she's not in here. So I don't know. That was just kind of disappointing. So I don't who knows who else is not going to be in this book, but this has been one that's been really helpful. Just kind of like using it to check out the card I pulled. If I mean the locations I don't think are in here. I haven't even tried to look for the locations. I have pulled location cards, but I just assumed they weren't in the book. So that's what I've been doing with the Hellenic Oracle, and I actually got in a Kickstarter from the Clever Crow. It's a new tarot bag. I backed this forever ago, obviously on Kickstarter, and it took a really long time. Like I actually was almost at the point where I think I've been scammed. But it got here. Obviously it got here and whatever. So it's a zipper. And that is where the Hellenic Oracle hangs out now. That's her new home. So I think it mostly goes. I like it. So that was another purchase that I got in. I can't remember when I bought it. I think I bought it like back in April or something crazy. Now we're going to get on to like generic purchases. I think there's only like 2 things. Yeah, 2 generic ones. This one was a last minute throw in. Actually, I'll save this to the end because it's not even remotely tarot related. These are at least tarot related. So Thea had posted a video about, I think on her members only, she's doing a Hellenic Oracle study. I'm pretty sure that's where this came in. I must straighten my legs. Oh, my 40-year-old knees aren't happy. Yes, I'm pretty sure it was something in her members only group where she talked about scents and having a specific scent linked to specific decks. And this was something that I did a long time ago with my Saint Soleil beginner tarot. I put an incense cone in with it because I wanted it to have a specific scent. And for some reason, I have never done that with anything else. I've never done it again. So I actually bought these perfume pots on Etsy, and I really hope I remember to put the link in the description box down below. And I don't know how I'm going to hold these to show you. Can we do it? Can it be done? These little perfume pots. And the scents I got, now the original intent was for the Hellenic Oracle, and I didn't know which one I wanted for the Hellenic Oracle, but so I bought 3. One of them, so first of all, there's jasmine. I kind of figured like that's just a no-brainer for Greece. And I did get a neroli one, so this one is the jasmine. This one is the neroli. This is the one I struggled getting the lid back on. Yeah, the neroli is the combination of incense and Old Lady. Like Old Lady soap is what that smells like to me. So I'm not in love with the neroli. I did put it on my hand and it kind of took on a different, I don't know. It really smells like soap. Really smells like soap. So I'm not entirely sure what I'm going to do with the neroli. And then the third one I bought was sandalwood. That's the sandalwood one. And I love it. Oh my gosh, it's so good. It's quite a bit sweeter than I was expecting. But I do like it. And I haven't decided which deck. I haven't even thought about which deck I want to use the sandalwood one with. So definitely the jasmine is definitely going to be oh my gosh, the Hellenic Oracle. And I think what I'm going to do, I don't, like, they're oily, they're greasy, like you can, well, I was going to say you can see they've made my hand shiny, but it's nothing crazy. But I think what I'll do is just kind of like put them on my fingertips and run it along the edges of the cards and maybe keep this little pot in with the decks and then just kind of rub it on my hands before working with the deck just to keep that scent association with that deck. So those little babies I got from Etsy, I got the smallest size, whatever the smallest one is. Like I will never go through this. It's so It is tiny, but it's a lot for me. And then the other random purchase I have, this is so random for this channel and for me. I bought this, it was a Facebook ad that came up. I've seen it for years now. I've seen this company advertised. And I was like, you know what, I'm just going to do it. And it's called Hoo Ha, and it's an underwear company. I think they're based in Canada. I want to say they're like in BC or something. I'm not sure. Innovative tree fibers protected with soothing, naturally antimicrobial mineral zinc oxide. Woman owned and wear tested, sustainably derived from Mother Earth, unfavorable environment for bacterial growth, and designed for your sensitive regions. It's who-ha.com. This is one of the greatest purchases I've ever made in my entire life. They are not cheap. I will admit they're not cheap, but over time, I want to replace almost my entire underwear collection with this brand because I'm obsessed. The one thing I will say that I don't love about them is that they're fairly high-waisted. I did buy the low-rise thong, and it's not low-rise, like, at all. But you can kind of like shimmy it down a little bit and it's fine. It's worth it. It is worth it. So if you're on the market for new underwear, I got a size large. I normally take like a medium large. So I went on the larger side and it's fine. If I lose a little bit of weight, which I've been saying every day for like 3 years that I will lose a little bit of weight and I haven't yet. But if I do lose weight, they will be a little bit more loose, but that's just how it works. So I have 4. I have the regular, like normal underwear, the full bum coverage. I have the brief, which is ginormous. Like it goes above my belly button on my belly, but I bought them for sleeping, so that's fine. And then I have the regular thong and I have the low rise thong, and I love them all. So kind of random, kind of weird, but I just thought I would share. Anytime I find a product that I absolutely love, I share. So I'm sharing. Let's check the temperature. We went up. We went up 5 degrees. I'm dying. How am I going to sleep tonight? Whew. All right, now I have to go edit. Thanks for watching. Sorry for the delay in content. I did create an Instagram, a separate from Coyote Tarot that I've kind of been like putting a lot of effort into. I'm not quite ready to like talk about it. I think in September I'll discuss it and I'll tell you guys all about it and give you the name if you don't already know, if you haven't already figured it out, haven't already found it. But yeah, I will see you. I'm hoping to get more content out. I have ideas. I'm still wanting to do the Who Came Out on Top for the only 10 indie decks. I'm still waiting. There's been a few people who said they're going to do a VR to it and they haven't done one yet. So I'm kind of waiting for more people to do it. The people who've said they're going to do it. I know it's summertime. Things get crazy. I get it. So I will see you when I see you. If not, I already have, oh, that's what I was going to do. I was going to show you. We'll use my eye pillow. So here is May 2023, right? Yeah. There's May 2023. And then let's just take a look at June, July, and August are all on the same page. I gotta cover that up because that's an idea for another video. June, July, and August are all on the same page. So that's what I've been up to, or have not been up to, tarot-wise. Okay, now I'll see you when I see you, and thanks for watching.